Should we do a test, or is it okay, do you think?
Hi!
That's perfect.
That was so loud. Recording.
Hi, my name is Louise.
And hi, I'm Emma.
And you're listening to Murder or Myth.
The true crime podcast where not everything is true.
The aim of the game is to find out whether the story is actually murder or if it's just a myth.
Now, let's get started.
In this week's episode, I'm going to be telling Emma the story of Caroline Davis, a 42-year-old mother of two. So Caroline lived in Rockford, Illinois, with her two sons and husband Tim, and their dog Scout. So she worked as a bank teller in the Central Bank, Illinois, for the past 2 years. The couple had been married for 11 years with 15-year-old Preston and 9-year-old Emerson. 5-year-old, I read that wrong. 5-year-old Preston and 9-year-old Emerson. But on the 19th of October, 2018, Caroline went missing. So she had told Tim of her plans to go to a spelling class.
Okay.
However, when she did not return home a few hours later, Tim grew suspicious. So her phone was not dialing any of his calls, and he went to the police to file a missing persons report.
Right.
So after checking the local gym, Wicker Park Fitness, Caroline had not been seen there all day, and they checked CCTV of the surrounding area and there was no sign of her. So her family and friends had been notified, and no one had seen or heard from her since that morning. Now the story started to blow up in the news, and as details started to emerge, the story became known as the real-life Gone Girl.
Okay.
So Tim immediately made a plea for anyone knowing his wife to please come forward, begging for her and the baby to return home safely. So Tim now was announcing to the media that Caroline was pregnant.
A baby?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was not known before.
This was not, well, no.
But only by Tim.
Only by Tim. So he said that she was very early on in her pregnancy, only maybe 8 or 9 weeks, and that he was extremely worried for both of their safety.
Very sus.
So he set up a GoFundMe account titled Bring Caroline and Baby Home on the same day of this statement, asking people to support his search for his wife. However, after announcing Caroline was pregnant, which he did not mention until 3 or 4 days after she went missing to the police, they quickly became suspicious, and Tim Davis was now a prime suspect in the case.
Yeah, I think he would be. That's very...
Now, another suspicious detail about this story at the time was Caroline had not renewed her membership for the gym, and Tim said he believed she was attending the class at least once a week.
Right, okay. So, like, a discrepancy there, for sure.
So, after the police became extremely suspicious of Tim, Caroline's parents went to the media reporting of Tim's previous gambling addiction and some of the hardships faced during their marriage while he was in recovery. Others said that the couple appeared very happy, that they were like a very loving family, and that this was extreme tragedy that had happened to them.
So, like, the parents are kind of thinking that
The
he
parents
needs the money
are
for his
blaming
gambling
him.
debt and
Yeah.
needs to set up and...
But others, like his family, are saying, no, this was like a really good relationship, really good family.
Okay, got it.
Perfect American happy family. So on November 5th, 17 days later, Caroline was seen in Osage Diner. So she goes into the diner in the town of Webster Groves, Missouri, where she talks to waitress Ada Chavez that she's just escaped her kidnapper. So Caroline appeared very disheveled and had bruises on her face and body.
What year was this? Sorry.
This was in 2018.
Okay, thank you.
So in her statement to the police, Caroline accounted that she was drugged for the majority of her kidnapping and remembered very few details. However, she did account to being beaten and raped multiple times. When she was returned home, Dr. Victor Bufford checked the health of her mother and baby. He was unable to perform a rape test as the time window had passed, but the toxicology report confirmed she had GBH, rohypnol, and doxepine in her system. So doxepine is a medication used for severe cases of anxiety, depression, or insomnia.
Okay.
And GHB and Rohypnol are commonly listed as date rape drugs. So they're both powerful sedatives.
Right.
So the doctor confirmed that the baby was healthy, and Caroline was now 11 weeks pregnant at this time.
So that story checks out.
So that story checks out. Now, Caroline reported she was lured in to assist the man while soothing his crying infant in a car park outside CVS. She said he was, quote, pacing back and forth with the baby who would not quieten down. She had offered help and was immediately threatened to go into the car, and the man had a gun.
Okay, so this is how she was kidnapped in the first place.
This is how she was
apparently.
kidnapped in
Okay.
the first place. However, the media believed some details were suspicious in Caroline's story, and this is how she got the name the Real Life Gone Girl, so suggesting there were falsities in her story and part of this kidnapping may have been set up.
Like she was in on it too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Caroline accounted for not renewing her gym membership, saying she felt guilty while they were having financial trouble, but didn't want to fill Tim in, kind of his fault. So it was found that the couple had over $35,000 in debt across a number of bank accounts, and the police were now highly suspicious of both Tim and Caroline. It was suspected either one of them could have arranged the kidnapping in order to try and gain money from the event.
Okay.
So Tim's GoFundMe raised $8,473 for the couple, and after tracking Tim was sending this money into his personal account following her return, they were both arrested on November 27th.
Okay.
The couple had also filed to receive benefits as a result of her alleged post-traumatic stress.
Mm-hmm. So that wasn't even a lot of money.
That was not a lot of money that they
for
raised.
them to, have
But
gone
they
through
were
all
in
that,
hopes
technically,
of,
yeah. Okay.
I suppose maybe raising more.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's probably why he announced that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
To try and get more money in. Caroline and Tim were arrested, and they admitted to staging the kidnapping in a plea agreement. Caroline revealed that she was having an affair with a co-worker, James Adaman, and she was staying with him at the time.
Okay.
Okay?
So for the 17 days, that's where
For
she
the
was.
70 days, that's where she was. It came out that they had paid off the doctor to lie in his statement for the FBI, and that Caroline was not pregnant.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Dr. Bufford was found guilty of tampering with her toxicology report and lying in his testament to the police, and he was sentenced to 18 months in prison. The couple pleaded guilty to charges of multiple accounts each of lying to a federal officer, and they were sentenced to 36 months in prison each.
Okay.
So they've recently come out and have since separated. And that's the end of my story.
Okay. So, no murder.
No murder, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't even realise that.
I was like, wait, she escaped? No murder.
No murder. It was just actually a crime story, I guess.
That's refreshing. Well done.
Let's get away from the death.
Just a little less death this episode. A little less deathy. Okay, that's a good, interesting story. I didn't hear much about their sons after that. I guess they just fell off by the wayside.
Yeah.
They weren't key to it. Okay, but... So, she was gone for 17 days and she was just staying at someone's house.
She was staying at his house.
And do we get any more details about why she was, beaten and bruised when she showed up eventually?
They had beaten her.
Done that themselves?
The co-worker, to make the story more believable.
The guy she was having an affair with?
Yes, but none of the drugs were actually in her system.
They paid off the doctor.
So the toxicology report was fake. And that was also why they said they could not do a rape test.
Oh, yes.
Because...
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. There's a lot of details.
Mm.
So I'm thinking it's murder.
Okay.
But then I'm also thinking that it could be a murder closely based off something else, a myth closely based off other murders, because this would be like a trope or like a something done before type thing. And you only mentioned one place in America, so that was a lot less than the other time. Or was that me that was mentioning a lot of places? Two places. Okay.
Yeah.
And they got 3 years in prison each, and they just got some money. That was it.
Well, they didn't actually receive any benefits.
So they
only got the GoFundMe.
Yeah,
they only got the GoFundMe, but they had only filed to receive benefits.
Right. And so in 17 days, she was in someone's house and no one knew.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like very good police work. And it was in 2018.
It was in 2018.
So there would be surveillance cameras.
Well, that's at somebody's house, though. He lived in the countryside.
Are you just adding that detail in now?
No.
Well, I don't know about that. I think in 2018, if it's this recent, someone would know where you were.
There was CCTV outside the gym, but she wasn't filmed in any of it.
But she was picked up by this mysterious abductioner in the parking lot.
In the parking lot, yeah.
I
don't know.
There's a little bit of something there. I'm just gonna have to go with myth.
It's so obviously a myth.
It wasn't until the end, until you said that.
I was trying so hard, yeah.
No, it's a myth because I think in 2018 there would be more surveillance, more a person can't just fall off the face of the earth, and they can, but I don't know.
True.
She was very much alive, like, it wasn't like she disappeared and died.
If I hadn't said the part about the car park, there wouldn't have been CCTV.
Fair.
Like, she could have just been picked up, like, if I just said she's picked up on the side of the road.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Like, she's just staying in the house.
Yeah, but you did say CCTV. But see, staying in the house, like, people would notice things that, like, oh, it's odd, your man's at work, I can see this is happening, there's moving in the house. Like, someone might notice. People are nosy.
Yeah, but realistically, if you're doing this, the man would live in the countryside. Like,
fair, but you can't just.
I mean, you're not going to live in the middle of a city and do this, I guess. Like, that was my thinking.
Yeah, I suppose, but some
okay,
people are
was
stupid.
A myth.
Yay, yeah. One.
Good job,
I got
yeah.
one right.
For some reason, I was reading it, I was like, I just feel like this sounds so realistic. Like, so unrealistic.
It sounds really realistic, I thought.
I don't know. There's just something about, like, trying to write it the way like a journalist does.
Yeah,
it's really difficult.
It's okay, we're not journalists.
No, we're not.
We don't claim to be. Okay.
That's the end of our story. It was loosely based off another story that this woman went kidnapping and basically people thought she had like staged it, but she hadn't.
Oh, right, okay. So she actually got kidnapped.
She had actually been kidnapped. He like broke into her house and took her in the middle of the night, but it was like her and her husband.
Oh, okay.
And they thought like, this is so unrealistic. Yeah. Like, but yeah, eventually.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Thanks for listening. This has been Murder Myth with your hosts Louise and Emma.
And on this week's episode, I was right and I figured out Louise's myth was in fact a myth.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
And join us next week for another thrilling adventure.
Find us on all streaming platforms.
Slay.
Ah. Why? Why are the myths so difficult?
They're just really, really hard.
Yeah.